So I have been discussing the special cases in the expansion of solids in the earlier classes. So I would like to continue the discussion. So far I have discussed 8 special cases and some problems related to those cases. So next case, that is case number 9, I am going to discuss related to the term thermal stress. So you just concentrate only to listen now. Don't write running notes when I am explaining. So I will be showing you the notes for each special case with PowerPoint presentation after the discussion. Suppose if you consider uniform metal rod, you consider uniform metal rod, so let us consider uniform metal rod which is connected, clamped between 2 rigid supports. There is one rigid support on the left side. You can call it as S1, another rigid support on the right side called S2. Let us suppose the rod is initially just taut with negligible tension. Then when the temperature of the rod suppose increased, then the rod will tend to expand. But if the 2 ends of the rod are connected between 2 rigid supports, the expansion of the rod is prevented. So to prevent the expansion of the rod, each support exerts a compressive force on the rod. This F on the left side is the compressive force exerted by support S1 on the left side on the rod. This F on the right hand side represents the magnitude of the compressive force exerted by the second support S2 on the rod towards left side. Because the rod is in static equilibrium in the present discussion, these 2 forces are equal in magnitude. So tension will be developed in the rod, stress will be developed in the rod due to rise in temperature, which is called as thermal stress. That means to prevent the expansion of the rod when temperature increases, each rigid support exerts a compressive force on the rod along its length. So I'd like to discuss the calculation of this compressive force. The force required to prevent the expansion of the rod when its temperature rises can be taken to be same as the force needed to produce an equal elongation in the rod. That L denote the original length of the rod. Then in case the rod is not placed between the 2 supports, and the rod is supposed allowed to expand, let delta L represent increase in length of the rod. Then coefficient of linear expansion of the rod, you can write increase in length by, average value of coefficient of linear expansion. Increase in length by original length, it increase in the temperature of the rod. So delta L by L can be written as alpha into delta T, change in temperature. On Kelvin scale, it numerically same as change in temperature on centigrade scale. You can write delta capital T or delta small t. Now, if you want to produce the same elongation of the rod by applying stretching force, the force required to produce this elongation delta L in the rod with original length L can be found from the theory of elasticity. So from the theory of elasticity you studied in the last chapter, Young's modulus of elasticity is equal to tensile stress divided by longitudinal strain, the tensile stress is equal to F by A. Longitudinal strain is delta L by L. That means the force required to stretch the uniform rod of original length L and original area of cross section A is given by F equal to YA delta L by L, where delta L is elongation. The force required to prevent the expansion of the rod when the temperature rises. That means the force required to prevent the expansion of the rod, to prevent the increase in length, delta L. Expansion of the rod by delta L. The force required to prevent the expansion of the rod, I mean compressive force required to prevent the expansion of the rod is same as the force required to produce the same elongation as that can produce increased length. So if you take delta L by L as alpha into delta T, the force required to prevent the expansion of the rod when temperature, the rod increases by delta T, can write YA alpha delta T. So stress will be developed in the rod, which is called thermal stress, because each support exerts a compressive force on the rod to prevent the expansion of the rod. So magnitude of tension of the rod will be increased. The magnitude of the tension force acting normal to unit area of cross section gives you that stress here. That can be written as YA alpha delta T by A, or you can write Y alpha delta T. Delta small t we write when change in temperature expressed on centigrade scale. We write delta capital T when the change in temperature is expressed on Kelvin scale. Suppose if you consider uniform metal wire, you consider uniform metal wire placed between two rigid supports S1 and S2. Let us suppose the wire is just taut with negligible tension in the wire. So in this case, the wire is cooled. Then it tends to contract. When the wire is cooled, the wire will tend to contract. That means will try to contract. But if the two ends of the wire are connected between two rigid supports denoted by S1 and S2, the contraction is prevented by the two supports. That means each rigid support exerts a stretching force at the two ends of the wire. So the letter F shown on the left hand of the wire represents the magnitude of stretching force exerted by first support S1 on the left side on the wire. The other letter F as shown to the right side represents the magnitude of stretching force exerted by the other support S2 on the wire. The wire is a truss here. These two forces are equal in magnitude. The two ends of the wire will be stretched by forces of same magnitude F at the two ends of the wire to prevent the contraction of the wire. Therefore, tension will be developed in the wire, or you can say stress will be developed in the wire, which we call thermal stress. The magnitude of force required to prevent the contraction of the wire, same as the magnitude of force required to produce same magnitude of change in the length in the wire. So alpha we write coefficient of linear expansion, change in the length by original length into change in temperature, or change in length by original length. So if delta T is negative, delta L is also negative. But when temperature decreases, change in temperature is negative, then change in length is also negative. So therefore, decrease in the length of the wire when temperature decreases. I mean, if the wire is allowed to contract, minus delta L. That will be minus L alpha delta T. So minus delta T gives you, delta T is the change in temperature, means final temperature minus original temperature. So decrease in temperature and denoted by theta. That is the initial temperature minus final temperature, or minus of T dash minus T, or minus delta T. Or write L alpha theta. The theta is decrease in temperature, or mod of delta T. So the force required, the tension force, which is to be applied by each support on the wire to prevent the contraction, can be calculated by using the same formula which I discussed previously, my A into mod of delta L by L. So mod of delta L by L, you can write mod of alpha into mod of delta T. So the force required to prevent the contraction of the wire when temperature decreases, you can write Y A alpha into mod of delta T, or Y A alpha theta. The theta is fall in temperature or decrease in temperature. So here also stress will be developed in the wire, which we call thermal stress. That is equal to magnitude of the tension force developed in the wire per unit area of cross section, F by A. That will also again comes out with the formula Y alpha theta, Y alpha into mod of delta T. Now, so I am going to show you the notes for this discussion. Whatever a discussion I have about thermal stress, I will I'm going to show you the notes. So those who are writing the notes, take a pause and please write the notes. And those who are not writing the notes also, you can just go through the summary. I am going to discuss this, show you the systematic notes for this special case 9. So come on, look at the screen. I am going to show you the conclusion on the screen, conclusion of this discussion about thermal stress. I am going to read out the conclusion. Consider uniform wire, within brackets a rod, of original cross-sectional area capital A, Young's modulus capital Y, and coefficient of linear expansion alpha, with its ends fixed between two rigid supports or walls with negligible tension. The temperature of wire or rod is decreased in the case of wire when it is decreased, in the case of rod when it is increased, by theta or delta T. Then those who are copying the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes. I am going to show the continuation. Next slide. The thermal stress developed in the wire or rod is Y alpha theta. The tension force developed in the wire or rod is given by F equal to Y alpha theta. Or we can write F equal to Y alpha into mod of delta T. So that's the conclusion which you have to remember and which we directly use in a good number of problems in expansion of solids, and same result is also used for some problems in waves on a stretched string in second year syllabus. So I am going to show the working for this conclusion. Those who are want to copy the note, take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. So I'm going to the working here. We can write alpha equal delta L by L into delta T, or delta L by L equal alpha into delta T. And X modulus Y equal tensile stress divided by longitudinal strain, or with F by A divided by alpha into theta. Or Y F equal YA alpha theta. Stress developed due to change in temperature F by A or Y alpha theta. Come on, those who are writing the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. So I am going to discuss the problem based on this case now. So look at the problem number 7 shown on the screen. Steel beam fixed whose cross-sectional area is 60 square centimeter between two rigid clamps at a temperature of 10 degrees centigrade. The temperature to which the beam is to be heated so that the force to the ends of the beam by the clamps is 3.6 10 power 9 newtons. Young's model of the velocity is given to be 2 in 10 power 11 Pascal, and linear equation of linear expansion of the material of the rod is given by alpha equal 12 in 10 power minus 6 per degree centigrade. That is for alpha for steel. So as I explained here, the force to be exerted by each clamp or support on the rod or beam to prevent the expansion is given by YA alpha into delta T. Delta T is the increase in temperature of the rod. Y the Young's model of the velocity which is given to 2 in 10 power 11 Pascal. Area of cross section of the rod is given of 60 square centimeter. We'll express all units in a SI system. 1 square centimeter can write 10 power minus 4 square meter. So cross sectional area of the rod is 16 10 power minus 4 square meter, which you can write 6 into 10 power minus 3 square meter. So alpha is given to 12 into 10 power minus 6 per degree centigrade. The increase in temperature is 10 degree centigrade. I'm sorry, you have to 10 degree centigrade initial temperature. You have to find increase in temperature delta. You are asked to find final temperature which the rod should be heated. For that, you have to first find increase in temperature. The force exerted by each clamp on support has to be is 3.6 into 10 to the power of 5 newtons. So from this, you have to calculate the value of delta T. So you can observe here 10 power 11 multiplied by 10 power minus 6 will be 10 power 5, which can be cancelled on both the sides. So therefore, delta T you can find increase in temperature required 3.6 by, so 2 into 6, that is 12 into 12 into 10 power minus 3. So 12 you can cancel 36 3 times. So this is 0.3. So you get, simplify this here. (25 degrees centigrade). So increase in the temperature is 25 degrees centigrade. That is increase in temperature. You can write final temperature rod minus initial temperature. The final temperature of the rod can be as increase in the temperature plus initial temperature. Increase in temperature has to 25, initial temperature 10 degrees. So the rod should be heated to a temperature of 35 degrees centigrade. So answer for the problem is 35 degrees centigrade. So those who want to copy the solution of the problem, they can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So look at the screen here again. Solve this problem just now. So among the options that are shown in the screen, first option will be the answer. So next I am going to discuss the next special case. So I am going to discuss another special case where you have two rods of same dimensions placed side by side. Both the rods suppose have same original length L. So I am going to discuss the next special case here. That's the case 9. You just concentrate to listen. Don't write running notes when I am explaining. So I will show you the notes for this case separately. You're also given a problem based on this case in 2006 MSET exam in engineering. And questions were also given based on this discussion. I mean, based on the conclusions of this discussion in other entrance exams. So I am going to discuss the result. The result is that means here we have two rods of same dimension, same original length, same area of cross section, placed side by side between two massive walls. That is one rod. One end of the rod is in contact with the other end of the rod. One of the end of each rod are contact with each other. The other end of each rod is fixed to or clamped to a rigid support or wall. So when initially the whole system is just taut with negligible tension. So I would like to discuss how to find the magnitude of the tension developed in each rod when temperature of the system of the two rods is increased, and how to find the shift in the junction, that is the contact surface between the two rods. We call it a junction. I would like to discuss how to find the displacement of this junction when temperature of system is increased. And I would like to discuss the condition for which the junction does not shift even though temperature increases. For that, we'll first derive the formula for displacement of junction, which is denoted by delta L. And this displacement of junction is supposed within the elastic limit. Now see, when temperature system is increased, because alpha and alpha dash here denote the coefficients of linear expansion. Alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion of the material of the first rod. Alpha dash is the coefficient of linear expansion of the material of the second rod. Y is the Young's modulus of the velocity material of the first rod. And Y dash is the Young's modulus of velocity of the material of the second rod. And L is the original length of each rod, and let A denote the original area of cross section of each rod. So when temperature system is increased, length of one of the rods may become more than L, whereas the length of the other rod will decrease, becomes less than L, but total length of the two rods between the two walls will remain constant, because one end of each rod is fixed rigidly to a wall or support, which prevents the expansion at one side. So therefore, length of one of the rods may become more than L, and length of the rod may become less than L, but total length of two rods remains same. So final length of one of the rods You can write it as original length L plus increase in length due to rise in temperature minus decreasing length due to the compressive force exerted by each support on the rod. Because when the temperature of the two rods is supposed by delta T, each rod will tend to expand lengthwise. So the wall or each rigid support exerts a compressive force on the rod to prevent the expansion of the rod. Let F denote the magnitude of the compressive force exerted by each wall or each support on the rod to prevent the expansion of the rod when temperature increases. Now, Young's model of the velocity, as explained earlier, can be written in the previous case. F by A divided by delta L by L, or delta L can be written as FL by AY. That means change in the length of the rod due to the compression force can be written as FL by A into R. So therefore, increase in the length, coefficient of linear expansion, change in the length of the rod due to rise in temperature by original length into change in temperature. So change in the length of the rod due to rise in temperature, you can write alpha into L into delta T. So final length of the first rod denoted by L1 dash. The original length of the first rod denoted by L plus increase the length due to rise in temperature. Using this formula, you can write alpha into L into delta T. Decrease in length due to compression force FL by AY. But sum of the final length of the two rods when temperature is increases, same as the sum of the initial lengths L1 and L2. Because the two ends of each rod, or one of the ends of each rod is connected to a rigid wall or support. So distance to the two walls or supports is constant, which is equal to L plus L or L1 plus L2. So sum of the final length of the rod when temperature system is increased by delta T can be attributed same as the initial length of the rod before rise in temperature. We'll assume that there is no bending in the rods and this expansion or compression is within the elastic limit. So L1 dash you can write L plus alpha into L into delta T minus FL by AY. L2 dash the final length of the second rod, which you can write original length L plus increase the length of the second rod due to rise in temperature, you can write alpha dash into L into increase in temperature. Decrease the length of second rod due to compressive force, you can write F into L by A into Y dash. That is equal to sum of the initial length. That means this whole thing is L2 dash. L1 is the initial length of first rod, that is written as L here. L2 is the initial length of second rod, that is also L. So L plus L on the left side and L plus L on the right side gets cancelled. So you can carry the terms containing the compressive force to the right side. To find the final length or delta L is nothing but shift change, magnitude of change in the length of another rods. Can write L1 dash minus L or L2 dash minus L. So this you can write as, you take the terms containing, keep the terms containing alpha to one side, Young's modulus to the right side. So alpha plus alpha dash into L into delta T can be written as FL by A to 1 by Y plus 1 by Y dash. So you can cancel L both sides, or FL by AY you have to find the change in the length of first rod. So you can simplify it further. So alpha plus alpha dash into L delta T FL by A Y Y dash into Y dash plus Y. So FL by AY. Need not copy this working. I'll show you the systematic notes in the next continuation. Just concentrate to listen. So you get Y dash into alpha plus alpha dash into L into delta T by Y plus Y dash. We'll substitute here. So from this last equation, you get FL by, I'm writing the same equation again, FL by AY can be written as, so Y dash into alpha plus alpha dash into L into delta T by Y plus Y dash. So from this equation, you can see change in the length of the first rod. Here magnitude of change in length of each rod will be same because length of one of the rods will increase. There will be net increase in the length of one of the rods and there will be an equal net decrease in the length of the other rod because total length, I mean some of the length of two rods is constant. So we'll find magnitude of change in length of one of the rod, that will be the answer. I mean the conclusion which we want to arrive at. So delta L means change in length of first rod, suppose L1 dash minus L. From this equation, L1 dash minus L, we can write alpha L delta T minus FL by AY. Can substitute the value of FL by AY here. So alpha L into delta T minus Y dash into alpha plus alpha dash into L delta T by Y plus Y dash. That has to be simplified to arrive at conclusion. So we can simplify this further. So Y plus Y dash into alpha minus Y dash into alpha plus alpha dash. You can take L delta T common. in both the terms. So this you can simplify y alpha plus y dash alpha minus y dash alpha minus y dash alpha dash whole multiplied by L delta t. So into L delta t by y plus y dash. So here y dash alpha gets cancelled. So you get delta L for the first rod, y alpha minus y dash alpha dash into L delta t by y plus y dash. That means if y alpha is greater than y dash alpha dash, then the length of the delta L will fall. That means the length of the first rod will increase. Then the length of the other rod will decrease by the same amount. If y alpha, the product y alpha, if it is less than the product y dash alpha dash, then delta L will be negative. That means the length of the first rod will decrease. Then the length of the other rod will increase by same amount. There will be no change in the position of junction. That means junction does not shift if delta L will be 0. So delta L will be 0 if y dash alpha dash will be same as y into alpha. So I would like to show you the summary of the whole discussion I have done so far about this special case, and I will show you the systematic notes with PowerPoint presentation. So those who want to copy the notes, get ready with your notebook and pen. So look at the screen here now. I'm going to show you the conclusion of the special case which I just discussed. That is the case number 10 here. So I'm going to first read out the conclusion that is shown on the screen. So later I will show you the systematic working for this conclusion. Because some of the students may not be able to remember the conclusion, but if they must know how to arrive at the conclusion, they will be able to work out the problems related to this case. So look at the screen here, listen here. Consider two uniform rods of different metals with Young's moduli y1 and y2, but having same length L and cross-sectional area capital A, which are arranged end to end between fixed rigid supports, as shown in the figure, and there is no initial stress. Come on, those who want to copy the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes and also copy the diagram. So I suggest the students, particularly those students who are now in junior intermediate, so I suggest them to write the systematic notes in a separate notebook for my classes, because you learn the things better and develop more confidence if you write all the conclusions and formulae in the special cases once in your notebook. So I am going to show the continuation to this. Next slide. When the rods are heated so that their temperature increases by delta T, the rod interface will be displaced by an amount delta L equal to modulus of alpha 1 y1 minus alpha 2 y2 divided by y1 plus y2 whole multiplied by L into delta T. The junction between the two rods does not shift if y1 alpha 1 equal to y2 alpha 2. So if you can remember the conclusion, you can answer the questions related to this case, more faster objective questions. Come on, those who want to copy the conclusion, copy the notes, take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. So next I am going to show you the working for the conclusion. So look at the screen for working. Total length of the combination does not change. Therefore L1 dash plus L2 dash equal L plus L. Or L1 dash minus L can plus L2 dash minus L equal to 0. So L1 dash minus L is the change in the length of the first rod. L2 dash minus L is the change in the length of second rod. This you call it as equation number 1. We can write L1 dash equal to, that means the final length of the first rod is equal to original length L plus increase in length due to rise in temperature minus decrease in length due to the compressive force. Or you can write L1 dash equal to L plus alpha 1 into L delta T minus FL by A1. Increase in length due to rise in temperature is equal to coefficient of linear expansion. The material of the first rod, the original length of the first rod in increase temperature. Decrease in length due to compressive force is FL by AY1. So those who are writing the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here, so that I can show the continuation. The continuation for this working in the next slide. You can learn the working or subject, particularly mathematical part, only if you write them once on the paper. So I am going to show the continuation next slide. Or can write L1 dash minus L equal to alpha L delta T minus FL by A1. Similarly, you can write L2 dash minus L also in the similar way. Alpha 2 L delta T minus FL by AY. And these two will substitute here. This should be substituted here and here. So I am going to show you the next slide here. Similarly, L2 dash minus L. You can write alpha 2 into L delta T minus FL by AY to call that equation 3. So from equations 1, 2, and 3, that means I have substituted. As I already told, L1 dash minus L, change in the length of the first rod, plus L2 dash minus L, that is 0. So I have substituted L1 dash minus L equal to alpha 1 minus L delta T minus FL by A1. Similarly, L2 dash minus L can be written as equal to alpha 2 into L delta T minus FL by A by 2. This can be simplified for finding FL by A. So collecting the terms containing alpha coefficients of linear expansion to the left side and terms containing Young's moduli to the right side, you get alpha 1 plus alpha 2 into L delta T equal FL by A into 1 by Y1 plus 1 by Y2. So this you can write next as alpha 1 plus alpha 2 into L delta T equal FL by A into Y1 plus Y2 by Y1 Y2. So those who are writing the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. So next I am going to show you the continuation this year. The next slide. Or alpha 1 plus alpha 2 into L delta T equal to Y2 by Y1 plus Y2 FL by AY1. Substituting this value of FL by AY1 in the equation 2. We get that is L1, equation 2 is L1 minus L equal to L, as I have written here. You can see the previous equation 2 here. L1 minus L equal to alpha 1 into L delta T minus FL by A1. This we are coming back. I come back again. So we'll substitute that value here. That means, as I discussed here previously, so L1 minus L equal to alpha 1 L delta T minus FL by A Y1. That I am substituting here. FL by A Y1, you can substitute this value. That you can simplify it further to get this conclusion. That is, if you take L delta T common as explained before, you get Y1 alpha 1 plus Y2 alpha 1 minus Y2 alpha 1 minus Y2 alpha 2. This will get cancelled by Y1 plus Y2. So finally, you get this conclusion. Those who want to copy the working, please take a pause and finish copying the working. I will show the next conclusion. Next slide. Therefore, here as explained before, if Y1 alpha 1 is greater than Y2 alpha 2, then del L1 dash length of the first rod, final length of the first rod is more than the initial length. Then the length of the first rod will increase, but length of the rod will decrease by same amount. Then delta L will be written as Y1 alpha 1 minus Y2 alpha 2 into L delta T by Y1 plus Y2. So delta L will be 0 if Y1 alpha 1 equal to Y2 alpha. So I will continue my discussion in the next class.